What is exactly generative AI, right? And how is it going to transform HR? So first of all, artificial intelligence is the broader field, right? That is the bigger field that we are talking about. Within AI, there is this subfield called ML, which is machine learning, right? But we don't want to go into the technicalities of it all, right? We just want to understand one fundamental. What exactly is ChatGPT, right? It is a large language model developed by OpenAI. OpenAI is the company behind this, right? What exactly is a large language model? Again, without getting into the technicality of it, imagine 3.4 billion pages of the internet. One machine has learned all the patterns within this 3.4 billion pages of the internet. Now, please do understand that this is not easy to fathom, right? This is not easy to fathom 3.4 billion pages of internet, right? On a daily basis, you're probably looking at maybe 100 pages of the internet because you're browsing different sites or whatever. We're talking about 3.4 billion pages of the internet, right? Okay. So yeah, that's what ChatGPT has been trained on, like 3.4 billion pages of the internet. And what has essentially happened with that is the machine learning algorithm has been able to figure out patterns, right? So one fundamental thing that you need to understand before we even get into how to use ChatGPT, etc., is the fact that what you imagine typically is that there is a data bank of questions and answers, and every time you ask a question to ChatGPT, it is searching for an answer in that database. This is not the case. How ChatGPT or any generative AI tool works is it figures out patterns, right? Now, again, this is slightly difficult for you to grasp. What it is essentially doing is if you give it a set of 3 to 5 words, it is essentially trying to figure out with that word sequence, what is the next likelihood of word coming, right? That is essentially what is happening with ChatGPT. Now, it is difficult for you to fathom that how is it able to find out such patterns in such a good way that it gives us such good answers, right? Again, go back to the fact that it has been trained on 3.4 billion pages, billion with a B, right? So it has all possible pattern recognitions, right? So very, very important to understand this. It is doing pattern matching. Given a set of certain words, what is the next word likely to come in the sequence? That is what ChatGPT is doing. It is not finding answers from a database, right? Which brings me to the next point, is the fact and the caveat. Sometimes it can be wrong. And the technical term for this is hallucination. When it is not, so you can imagine 3.4 billion pages of the internet, but there are very, very unique cases when your query is so unique that it cannot figure out the pattern. It just makes up an answer. Because ChatGPT has been trained to give you an answer, it will make up an answer on its own. This will happen very few times. The percentage will be very less, but it can happen. That is a caveat that you need to keep in mind, right? And the technical term for this is hallucination, where ChatGPT just makes up an answer. So obviously for questions like, create a job description for the role of payroll specialist, you can be 100% sure you will get the correct answer, right? I'm talking about very, very unique queries, right? You will probably not have any such unique query in your day-to-day HR work that you are going to use ChatGPT for. But important to note that, right? That is sometimes it can hallucinate, make up answers, right? Cool. By the way, what we are going to be primarily discussing today is the text generation part of it, right? So text generation, and that is the most well-known use case. ChatGPT is a text generation tool. And we will see with some plugins, we are able to do now graph generation, image generation as well. But do remember that there are image generation tools as well. And that's why this field is now called generative AI, right? You're generating something using a prompt. Cool. So the most well-known text generation generative AI tool is ChatGPT, which we will, do a lot of ChatGPT work today. But then there is Microsoft Bing, which is again based on ChatGPT itself, OpenAI. But there is Google Bard as well, which is based on Google's own proprietary generative AI version, right? And then there are image generation tools. So you give a text prompt, you get an image. So you might have heard of tools like Midjourney, DALI, all of these are image generation tools. We will discuss a presentation tool as well. You give a text and it generates a presentation, a PPT, right? That tool is called Tome.ai. And at no point you should worry about, oh, Abhash, can you tell me the name of the tool again? We will have a document ready with all the links, tools, names, everything for you. So don't worry about all of that. Then there is video generation tool as well, speech generation tools as well. There is music generation tool as well. You might have come across some examples if you are, active on Twitter or LinkedIn and things like that. But we will see some of that fun stuff as well towards the end of the session.